Hey, today's episode's about coaching energy, about coaching responsibility, and the coaching environment. Pierre Lafontaine has led national programs, Olympic teams, and he coaches across the world. He was a director in Canada, but also coached in China and does a lot of consulting. But what stands out in this conversation with the WAFSU audience is not high performance system. It's something simpler and stronger. He reminds us that athletes do not need perfect facilities. They don't need perfect plans. They need coaches who create daily wins. They need coaches who believe improvements happen today, not someday. And they need environments where performance becomes byproducts of belonging and purpose and momentum. Hey, listen for the ideas that matter most. Now, if you like what he has to say, I want you to come listen to the entire episode, the entire seminar at wafsu.org. That's the World Aquatic Federation for Schools and Universities. Hey, thanks, Pierre, and thanks for all you do for the sport of swimming.
Thank you very much. I want to talk to you a little bit today. My discussion really is about your role as coaches. My journey has been around the world, and the reason I was around the world is I was always looking to find ways to be even better than I was the day before, which is what I think coaches should be aiming at. You know, my question to all of you is, okay, well, you're sitting through this lecture and you're sitting through level 1 and level 2 and everything else. Coaches around the world take coaching education. But, you know, the coaching education is only ever going to be as good as how you get up every day and what you do to inspire your kids. Because at the end, you know, they could be great. You know, I say this all the time, even when I was running different organizations, we have good administrators, good coaches, but if the coaches are not doing and inspiring the next generation, then, you know, it's just another job. And I think, I don't think coaching is just another job. I really think it's a passion, and it's a reason that you get up for. You know, I've been lucky enough to coach some great kids around the world. And probably the best luck is I didn't screw them up too much by overcoaching them or any of these things. Let me go through a bunch of things. You know, to me, the first thing, and I was talking yesterday about exactly that concept, is why do you coach, and why do you coach to a point where kids want to go through walls for you? And I think that's the game that we're in. Greatness happens from everywhere. Just keep remembering this. I was in the Atlantic region this past week working with a couple of little clubs. This is where the provincial bodies in Canada that are west of east of Canada, right off the Atlantic Ocean, there's only 2 clubs. But my point to them was, you guys have a 25-meter pools, 8 lane, backstroke flags, starting blocks, great coaches. Let's go. Like, you could win Olympic medals from everywhere. And I hate to think that a coach would go, wow, you know, we're not so lucky here. We don't have this. We don't have that. Well, you know, I've seen world records happen from 20 meters pool. They don't have to be 50 meters. They don't have to be perfect. They just need an inspiring coach that will find solutions to everything that's a problem. And that's why I say impossible is not a word in our world. I am possible is the word that we should be teaching. So if there's a problem, find a solution. Don't just say, I don't know, I can't do it. So, you know, your most important people are the people that open the pools for you. If you don't have the key, the nicest people you need to be with is these people. And then you just need to get these kids a pathway in their mind that, you know, in Manila, we could win Olympic gold medals like in LA, like in Montreal, and like in Paris, or like anywhere. You don't have to be super special. You just have to outwork everybody and outcoach everybody and get in the weight room and be strong and really make a difference. Energy is contagious. You walk on the pool deck. I've always made a point that I was going to be the first one on the pool deck, and I was going to make sure I'm the last one leaving the pool deck, and I say hi to everybody. And so I think your energy is what changes the environment for performances. They're not cars that you sell. They're not things. They're people with emotions, and they're people with headaches and fight with their parents, and don't understand because you're coaching one way and they're more visual. So I think a coach is everything. A coach is the person that will find the way to get the performance. I also often talk about, coaches often use, we got to be perfect at what we're doing. And I'm going, no, you don't. You have to be excellent. You have to be better today than you were yesterday. To me, that's the motto. Performance, perfection is a place where you fail because you never are perfect. You don't want to create an environment where there's only perfection that's get rewarded. It's getting better today than you were yesterday, I think, to me, is the thing. Innovation in your training, I think, is crucial because boredom is what makes people quit, not burnout. Burnout is boredom. Burnout is it's not interesting workouts. Burnout is I don't see the progression every day. I kick better today than I did yesterday. I did less stroke today than I did yesterday. These are the tools that you use in your coaching to allow kids to go, wow, like I'm going home and I'm better. Very much like the kids that play football in training and they scored 5 goals in training against the goalie while they were training. They go in the car with their moms and dads and say, hey, Dad, I scored 5 times today, the 8-year-old and the 10-year-old and the 15-year-old. So what are the winning of every day for these kids? That's the difference between you and another coach. Create the daily winning, whether it's kicking or fast or swimming or best 50 in practice or a set they've never done. You build confidence by doing things you've never done in your life. That's what we create with these kids. Not failures every day, just things you've never done in your life. Technical expertise for a coach and coaching technique is, to me, probably the number one thing that's crucial in the development of coaches. I think we try to train people through performance. No. You teach incredible techniques at all levels, 8-year-old to 25-year-old. You're always the eyes for the athletes, and you're the one that looks at, think about putting your hands like this instead of like that, or get that elbow by your ear, but you're the one that sees the changes that could happen. I was working yesterday with a 9-year-old for an hour, just about her pull out underwater for breaststroke, and trying to keep your head down all the way through the pull out, finishing your feet, get your feet up, and so on and so forth. And even 9-year-old understand, they're little people that are pretty smart. And probably a lot smarter than I was when I was 9 years old, let me tell you. I think you need to plan your program, but you need to plan recovery and competition before you plan the whole season or the whole 3 months or the week. Recovery is what makes you improve and get stronger, not hard work all the time until they get sick. So plan the recovery. I'm going to go 2.5 days hard or 2 days hard, 1 day easy. On the easy, we'll do those techniques and so on. Or there's 3 or 4 meets where kids will really feel like they're going fast, and we're really going to taper for 1 big one or 2 big ones a year. But they need to see successes every day. My experience with this is I had 3 kids that were in rock climbing when I lived in Australia. And when you go see these kids train in rock climbing, every day they get better because they climb up a little higher by one or two little rocks or whatever. And they go home. I remember my kids, I picked them up and they go, hey, Dad, like I did this, I did that every day. And I remember going, wow, my swimmers certainly don't do that. I better kind of change my coaching to, even at the international level, to create those daily wins. And they can't happen if they're always exhausted to pieces. Being tough on these swimmers is being intelligent on the swimmers, not destroy their spirit and destroy their soul. What makes them live and be energized is the world of possibilities ahead of them. Get involved. If your region hosts a meet, get involved. Like, the volunteers are not expert in our sport. You are. So help the volunteers make the environment, the meet, better for you. You know, like I used to host a meet in Phoenix when I was there. It was a great meet. But the volunteers came in one day and they brought these little sachet of milk for the coffee. And I said, I don't want little, like, these people are coming to my house. They're my friends or our co-clubs. I want a little jar with the milk in it so it looks pretty cool instead of just, you know, your plastic cup and so on and so forth. So to me, the details is what will differentiate you from other places. That's why I think hosting a meet and you being involved in how you want the meet to look like, I think is important. Turn your phone off during the coaching. If you're one of those that can't, you need to put the phone in the office. Like these kids, if you ever have a chance to work with lawyers and have a meeting with lawyers, their phones are never on the table. Their attention is with you. Well, these kids have an hour or 2 hours with you in a day or 3 hours. You need them to see that you have their full attention and you are completely engaged in what you're doing. Turn the phone off. The only time I say it's okay to use the phone is when you want to do a little video so they could see what they're doing. Maybe the streamline is not so good.
What are you going to do tomorrow to be better? Your words create an athlete's world. So impossible? Get it out of there. It really starts with you figuring out your why. It's got to be more than a job. It's that fire that gets you up to inspire the next generation. LaFontaine says this is the ultimate question for any coach. Passion is everything. It's how you build a winning culture, not just a team. You've got to connect with them as people first. They aren't just products. And it all starts with you. Your energy, how you pay attention, that builds the whole foundation. The goal isn't about creating perfection. It's just not. Perfection? That just creates fear. Excellence is just about being better than yesterday. And that's the key right there. It's all about progress, not perfection. That's what really works. This little cycle is so powerful. It builds momentum and keeps your athletes hungry for more. Now, this is just a quick taste of his message. There is so much more to learn. Want to hear the full thing? You can get his complete no-fluff seminar, and it's totally free. It's part of a series of free weekly seminars for coaches. And yep, it's waiting for you. Just go to wfsu.org. That's wafsu.org.
Before we sign off, today's fortune statement.
I will honestly evaluate my weaknesses.
Take time to reflect on it. Better yet, write about it. Every third episode, we offer a free reflection guide built from these fortune statements. You can download the current volume at hon.lap.red. These statements are drawn from Mental Skills for Young Athletes and the companion online course, both available at swimisca.com. Train the body, but don't neglect the mind.
Dr. John Hogue from BC, Canada, had a book that we've put back in print on mental skills for young athletes. Do you know Dr. Hogue? Can you speak to that book? Can you give me some background on that, your experiences there?
John was actually part of our sports psychology team for the longest time. He was a professor at University in Edmonton, University of Alberta. A great guy, great man. And, I love that book, and I got rid of a bunch of books not long ago. And that's one of the books I kept because it's simple. I said before, keep it simple, stupid. Like, it's simple, it gives you tools. And at the end, my belief in the sports psychologist, the book is really good. And it gives you tools for coaches to, whether they do goal setting or so on. But I think the sports psychologist should be working with the coaches a lot more to give them tools on how to work with their athletes and watch from afar and look for the environment and look for the body language of coaches, and for them to go back to coaches and go, like, you're always on that kid's butt all the time. Like, maybe you want to give it a break a bit, And even on the national team, I think the sports psychologist should be way more involved with them. We're not talking about clinical psychology where I would call it more performance psychology. And performance psychology is about empowering and giving tools to power, and not, tell me your problems here, like, I don't think so. I think simple tools for coaches and simple tools for like even the goal setting. I know a lot of people do a lot of that. I talk about daily goals, or I talk about weekly goals, and part of my training and things expected for the kids and so on. And yes, they put their goals in the locker rooms or in the ceiling in their bedroom. That's all good. But if they don't see the little progression on the day-to-day basis, like you swim and meet every 2 months or every month, it's a long time before you see, success stories. So you got to create the daily goals that will be way more exciting than, it's a bit more work for us coaches, but what else do we have to do except inspiring kids,